what you're saying. Nani? Get out my business, okay?
And I don't have any of these in order, so
Don't even matter.
It doesn't matter because this is things you need to know. Where basically we talk about a bunch of stuff that is happening in the news, and we forgot to tell you. It's like our need to know. So it's the name of this segment is things we forgot to tell you last week. And the first thing on the agenda is Billie Eilish. Now Billie is a singer, a phenomenal singer, and I have ad blocks here. No, thank you. And she recently came out with a spread. Eric, have you seen her new spread?
Oh, I saw pictures of it in the news.
These are the
quite
pictures.
shocked.
And she comes from a background where flaunting her skin isn't a thing for her. She had a lot of body positivity issues growing up, and as a teenager, as a minor, we saw this a lot with the Britney Spears and the Christina Aguileras of the world. They were super ultra sexualized by paparazzi, things like this, but it had the negative effect, not necessarily negative effect, but it had a recluse effect on her where she constantly was known for her baggy clothing. That was the only, I don't know any of her songs, so if there was the only way for me to see Billie Eilish, that would be it. Like, I know her for being the green hair girl that wears baggy clothes, but like now she's come out with this spread, and I was like, oh, okay, she got some some fire in that kitchen. And she talks a lot about how she wants to own her image. I don't know how you feel about this, Eric, but like, I'm happy to see her coming out of her shell and doing it her own way. I mean, do you see an issue here?
I was, when I saw not the pinup looking one on the right, well, for the viewing audience, it should be to the right, but just the Vogue cover. When I saw that, and I didn't even see, all I saw was from like the bust line up, and it was like zoomed in on her face. I was like, why was she hiding that?
I think she was hiding it.
Why was she hiding?
She was hiding it just more because in the article, she talks about how, like, and this is the part where I feel some type of way. Like, she's showing her body off right now, right? In a public forum. So she should be open to criticism. She should be open to favoritism. She should be open to any form of dialogue since it's been put into the public sphere. Now, if there's reasonable expectation for her to have privacy, such as like on a film set where it's a closed off scene, that's one thing. But now she's even bringing up the thought process of certain compliments are derogatory and demeaning in their process. Say, for example, saying a girl is pretty or saying that she has a banging body has a connotation, because you couldn't really say that to a guy. I mean, you could, but it's not said on the outright public. So there was a part of me I was like, slow your roll. A compliment is a compliment unless it's not sincere. So like, you can't tell me in my heart saying that something that I appreciate something that you're showing me, I'm not being sincere about it. Like, if you can say I'm not being sincere about it.
I don't think she's doubting your sincerity. So I don't think that's coming across to what she intended. What she doesn't want is, she doesn't want her body to be objectified. This is something that, and I'm finding it to be weird, even though to your point, you're broadcasting it to the public, but it's not for the public, it's for you. You don't get to have an opinion about what I post, even though I'm posting it to the public. So it's, again, to me, is this person, seems like she might be her way of becoming comfortable with who she is as a person. And I'm cool with you exercising that out. But if you're going to deal with that issue like this, you got to take what comes with it, and you can't be soft. You wasn't soft when you agreed to take the photos and let them be ran in the magazine. So you can't be soft about the smoke that may or may not come, or people saying things. And mostly there's not people saying anything negative. They're actually just surprised how attractive you are. And you got to understand that it took a lot for you to get to that point. It's shocking for you to completely look this way.
Yeah, for me, I'm more shocked that I didn't know Billie had it in her bag. Good for you, but like, ultimately, hey, a woman will do with her body what she will. Have at it.
Hey, and I appreciate it.
we have an update on our favorite school in Miami,
Dun dun dun.
Carter Academy in Center
Academy.
Academy in Florida. That is, this shall be known as the Florida School of Florida events. You know how we have the Florida Man. This is the Florida School. Eric, do you know what it takes to have how can I say this? X-ray. What would you need to stop X-rays from messing with your testicles in the operating room? What would you need?
Lead.
About 6 inches, 20 pounds worth of it.
That's what she said.
I think is mind-boggling to me. That this school has told their teachers and students that all they need is construction paper over the window to stop the 5G conspiracy from affecting their children. Now, the 5G thing was so 2019. I'm truly am confused as to why they are making this their battle. Like, why does this school, why is this school making it their mission to be the most like notoriously dumbass school on the planet?
It's because when you get zealots, they double down on stupidity and far-fetched ideas, and they want to seem bigger and more patriotic than they really are. So I we're honestly talking about this story for the algorithm and how stupid it is, not because these are a group of adults who are running an institution for education, making uneducated decisions about how they want to run said school. Isn't it ironic? But I digress. Back to you, bro.
Yeah, what I could care less. Eric is absolutely right. We really don't care about this. So then let's talk about an aspect of it that we do care about. Stephen Miller is suing the government on behalf of white people.
Stephen Miller.
For all of you guys that don't know who Stephen Miller is, he's the crypt keeper from the Trump administration who openly flaunts that white nationalism is a thing that he's proud of. And that's what makes this situation not strange to us, because if you can remember, during the Trump administration, less than 1/3 of the total donations going out, not donations, federal grants going out to farmers back when he was doing that stupid tariff war with China, went to black farmers. In fact, they were declined at a rate increased by nearly 67% in previous years. But that doesn't discount the fact that they were being discounted way back in the day during the Obama administration, during for the longest. It goes back decades. So the Biden administration in this previous bill hands out basically reparations to black farmers in their sum. I think it was $5 billion.
Yep, $5 billion.
So Stephen Miller took it upon himself to then say he was going to sue the government on behalf of white farmers who didn't get any money, even though the stats will show that they aren't people who were being misrepresented or rejected at a higher rate. In fact, if any one of those farmers wanted to get a loan today, they could. So this kind of baffles me, but it does set a scary precedent, because once again, we have to remember that 213 federal judges were put in place by Trump. And even though they might have held up the election, who's to say that they'll hold up something like this? I don't know. What do you think about this?
This is a big fat nothing burger, as Ben Shapiro would say. Yeah, and that's very, anyway. We don't rock with Ben Shapiro over here, but anywho, Stephen Miller. I like people who who get upset because another group of people got something that they didn't get. I was like, bro, you were taking W's for 4 years, and as soon as a group of people that you don't like get something that you think you should have gotten, you want to go sue the government. Isn't it funny how these people will run? They will run and go try to sue and make a big stink about something, and we take L's all the time. Maybe it's our fault. Maybe we need to be suing. Maybe we need to be doing stupid stuff like this to get attention. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe if the black farmers would have sued the government, maybe they would have got more than $5 billion. I don't know. I mean, listen, is his court system. He knows how to navigate through it the best. Maybe this is an example for us what we need to be doing as a collective
I won't
minority
hold my
people.
breath on this situation, but if
Yeah,
if
that's
anything comes from
something.
this, only
Yeah,
bad things
it's
can
nothing
come from
burger.
it. Yeah.
It's a nothing burger.
The thing that is
Cry
going to be
baby.
something serious is our homeboy Rudy Giuliani, the hero of New York, has had his house penthouse raided, and he had his phones stealing, his phones and laptops and technologies taken from him. This might be going back.
Bye.
This could be for anything, honestly. This could be for his stupid like Stormy Daniels thing, but everybody's putting this with the Ukraine situation and his communications back then. So what do you think about this?
So I mean, you read you go read the article. I think BuzzFeed, is it BuzzFeed or Vice? One of those two. Allegedly have the transcript. I mean, they released a few statements from the alleged transcript, and basically what he was saying in there, he was meeting with the president of Ukraine and was basically trying to coerce him into opening an investigation into Hunter Biden. And all of this communication was happening through the president's assistant, but he also had one of his chief advisors on the line, and Rudy Giuliani. And at the time he's doing this, he's the president's attorney. And so you kind of trying to finesse the situation. It's a really, really bad look if these transcripts do get released in their entirety and he actually does say this. It's not a good look because, again, you're trying to coerce something because you're trying to get the president a win. And again, that's election tampering.
I'm so ready for him to go to jail. I've been ready for him to go to jail ever since he implemented the stop and frisk thing. But hopefully Rudy does get what he deserves. We'll see what happens with this.
Yeah.
Let's talk about our favorite lovebirds. Is this a normal trend I'm starting to see? Rich people getting divorces. Bill and Melinda are splitting. They are breaking up. And if this proves anything to me, this proves one thing to me, Eric. This proves to me there's not enough money in this world to stop you from having normal people problems. How do you have this much money and how do you have your house is so damn big it would take you at least 10 minutes to walk across it? Y'all can't just live in y'all found a way to fight in that situation? I don't know. It literally makes me cringe to see them breaking up, because for me it's like Bill was putting out a statement like he's about to start the second half of his life. You're 65, dog. You're 65.
This is the next chapter. That was somebody had a meme
is
on Twitter.
Is not looking like, bro. Okay, I don't know. What do you think,
bro? Yeah, bro. This is the next chapter of your life. Divorced, old, with a bunch of money, unattractive. Your body don't function the way it used to. It's probably gonna be. I mean, it's easy for you to get company, but hard for you to rise to the occasion. So this guy's gonna have a miserable existence trying to quote unquote save the world. Can't even save himself. And
does he have kids?
I hope to God he doesn't.
I don't know.
I hope to God he doesn't.
Well, I mean, we'll see what happens with this.
Let's ask the Google machine. But
sort of like how it happened with Jeff Bezos and his wife, she'll quickly rise up the ranks of the richest people in the world. But they do plan on keeping the foundation together. I don't know how that's possible. Like, it makes me believe like him leaving Microsoft last year was in preparation for something like this. I don't know what is, but Eric will let us know if they have kids or not.
They do. 3 children: Jennifer, Rory, and Adele. So,
remotely interesting.
Yeah. She's gonna run for political office. This is what this is about. She's getting rid of him before she rises to power. She don't need him anymore.
Yeah, I hope so. Well, my freaking screen is lagging. U.S. court says black man should get far more money for forced labor. This is a story about Bob Paul Edwards, who is being sentenced, who is currently serving a 10-year prison sentence for the equivalent of slavery. He kept a man captive for for over 20 years, and this person had a mental disability at a cafe. He forced him to work. He would prod him. He would scold him with hot oil, and a number of things. And the court initially gave him a back pay of $273 for the time, $273,000 for the time served. But when they took upon it interest and consolidated inflation, they rounded that number out and just gave him a whole $500,000. Do I think $500,000 is enough money for $500,000 enough to be treated like a slave in 2021? No. But is justice being served here to some extent? Sure. The only reason why this guy got out is because of a 14-year-old girl reporting this to her mother and escalating it upwards.
That's crazy.
Really, it's
that a child had to
a child had to interfere.
The moxie to report this.
A child had to interfere. But I'm interested. I'm interested. I'm hoping. This is me being mean. I'm hoping that this guy gets shanked to jail. That's just me, though.
We don't condone violence here on
the Identity Group. We don't condone violence on the Identity Group.
You know what I mean? Things he may or may not potentially. Not likely, or maybe.
I hope he runs into the Black Panther Party of the Black Panther Party chapter in prison. That's all.
Hey, you know what? No, this is how it said. Maybe someone's holding a shank, and this guy runs as hard and fast as he can toward him, and just collides into the shank. But remember,
we don't condone violence here on the Identity Group.
No, it's no violence. The guy just happened to be running full speed, and it was just an unfortunate. He didn't.
Can we talk about why 3 things you need to know before you buy Dogecoin today?
Boy.
One, well, okay, being honest, you shouldn't, but if you're going to, you need to say yes to all 3 of these things. 1, do you believe Dogecoin is going to $1? If the answer is yes, all right, you're 1/3 there. 2, do you believe that Elon Musk is better at making money than you are? If the answer is yes, go ahead. And then finally, 3, do you think memes should be funny? And if you do, then go ahead. If you answer all 3, have at it, Hoss. But even if you don't believe, in 2021 alone, it's seen an 11,000% increase and is overhauling what we know cryptocurrency to be. This is amazing to see, but also very dangerous. What do you think, Eric?
Yes, I'm going to 100% agree with you. So it's funny. I was in the bed last night, right before I went to sleep. Got off the phone with you, got in the bed, marking up my charts for tomorrow. I get up, I mark it up. I was like, oh, this Doge is going to run. I get up, and there's a 31% rise from where I was looking at it. I was like, this is an insane run. It's absolutely insane.
And for all the people who are wondering,
it's really dangerous, though.
Yeah, and all the people, it's super dangerous, and all the people are wondering what's going on. Once this goes to $1, the joke's over. All right, the joke's over and the meme dies. But more importantly, the reason why this is happening right now is because who is going to be on SNL on Saturday?
What? Who?
Elon Musk.
It's the
Elon Musk will be hosting Saturday Night Live, and the theme of Saturday Night Live is going to be cryptocurrency and future tech. So he is basically going to have 1 hour of primetime television to literally sell himself and his meme. So get your money out before Saturday Night Live ends on Saturday, please. Next topic. The world's largest White Castle opens in Orlando. The thing that is super funny about this, Eric, do you know, is White Castle's in Texas?
Nah, but that's a thing, bro. White Castle's the move, though.
It's really not. I had the worst experience at White Castle in my life.
Where were you at?
I had 10 of those sliders, and they slid right through me, and I couldn't sit down for 6 hours. Worst, like they're quite deceptive. You could put them in your hand. You can eat like 2 at a time. That was the thing we used to do. We put 2 in our hand and eat them at twice, because that's, big man table. You can't sit there unless you can eat 3 sliders in 1 bite. But the damage I've done to my body is irreversible, and I'll never forgive White Castle for that. But this is the biggest one in the country, in the world, and there was lines over an hour waiting for people to get miniature versions of burgers. I hate White Castles with a fucking
Man,
passion.
so
So
many people love White Castle. You know you have arrived when you can sell your burgers in the frozen food section at the grocery store.
exactly. When you can sell your shit at
No, nah,
Walmart, when you can sell your shit at Walmart, we
hey,
got
listen,
beef.
you arrived. You arrived, bro. You arrived.
Uh, but here we go. We got some beef right now. A Kentucky officer, a Lexington, Kentucky officer, was fired for disclosing information about officers implicated in an investigation where Black Lives Matters protests were filing for Freedom of Information Act. So basically, everyone knows this. Unless you're being sanctioned or have protective guards because of a criminal investigation, every civil servant is subject to civilian identification. You can walk into any building with anybody who's a federal or state employee and request their identification. That is literally part of their job. That is part of the law. So this officer was fired for giving protesters this information on officers who were implicated in a request for Freedom of Information Act. I don't know. We had one good officer and they fired him, and this is a constant reminder to me. The system will weed out good officers before they weed out bad officers every time.
You know what I hated about reading this article is that they just said what he did was unforgivable. He put his fellow officers, his brothers, blah blah blah, at risk. I'm like, if it really is a brotherhood, then you should understand what it is that he was doing. I mean, we got people out here doing, ready to do bad things to people, places, and things just because they're pissed off. You won't give them any answers. You won't release any information that they can use to be settled. And so, the one guy who takes it upon himself to do such a thing, and again, we don't know what information he gave. I don't think the article says it, but
Mm-mm.
the police were so upset that a guy talked to Black Lives Matter. And then I like how this Associated Press article goes on to say that, well, he had already been demoted because of some kind of unrelated complaint, and then he also was complaining about issues of racism in the department. I was like, what does any of that stuff have to do with what he did and why he was fired, and what did he do that was so unforgivable? It's just,
The thing about it is, thing that they won't tell you in the military and in police departments. You want to know who is held up to that standard of responsibility and ethics and quotas? Black and brown people. When that brown man shot that lady in Minnesota, who scared him in his car, they didn't even let him get back to the police department. They arrested him on the scene.
on site, boy, on site.
On the scene. But in the military, before we could get cornrows in our hair, we literally had to fire people and remove them from the thing. Now we got TikTok and everything. They ain't let black people in there for real, for real. It's just once again, it's a constant reminder that, hey, they can do the right thing, but only when they want to. Only when they want to.
And they rarely ever want to, from where I can see. And the thing is, I be rooting for these dudes. A lot of these dudes we know not bad. It's just the ones that are bad, the ones that are good aren't speaking out against the ones that are bad. Like,
And,
we
and
need
no, but
vehement
no, when they do,
denial
they get
of the
fired.
behavior.
When they do, they get fired. But I mean, like I
It just
said,
lets
it's
me know
an
that.
endless cycle. But you want to know some good news we got going on right now? Marvel
Yeah.
has let out their list for coming back to the movies, and I gotta say, I'm a little impressed. Now, let the record
Really.
show. I said to myself, and RTJ took
Heero
that
doesn't
final
impress
snap.
easily.
RDJ, when he took that snap, that was it for me. That was the end of my Marvel trek and my movie experience with Marvel. I didn't see Spider-Man. I didn't see the movie after that. Can't even remember it. But in my mind, that was it. But there's 2 movies on this list. And the total list is July 9th, Black Widow, September 3rd, Shang-Chi, November 5th, Eternals. December 17th, Spider-Man No Way Home. March 5th, 2022, and all the rest will be from 2022 to 2023. Doctor Strange, Thor, Love and Thunder, Black Panther, The Marvels, Ant-Man, and the Wasp, and the Mania of something Quantum Realm, and then Guardians of the Galaxy. For me, there's only 2 movies on this list that I want to see, and a lot of people are gonna be shocked by this. Black Panther isn't one of them.
Yeah.
I think for me it's gonna be Shang-Chi and Doctor Strange. Those are 2 characters that I resonate with extremely. But like a lot of people are like, why don't you want to see Black Panther now? It's just because for me, you have to recast the character. You have to recast the character because he was our first hero. And just like they did with Heath Ledger when he died, and they gave it time to breathe and brought back Joker, and then we had Joaquin Phoenix give one of the greatest performance ever.
100%.
Like, we as a group of people, we as Black people, we deserve to have a hero. We don't need a memoriam. We have tons of those. We don't need a visual. His Chadwick Boseman would want his situation to be replaced because he realized what an impact his character was. So for this second movie to be sort of, if this second movie is what they're saying it is, which is a prequel, and then they're going to come back in video movie 3 with a recast, that's great. I'm here for it. But if they're planning on just doing a whole nostalgia run and tribute to Chadwick,
I don't want to see that. I was hoping that it wasn't. I was like, I don't want no CGI, no holographic, none of that crap.
None of those feelings. When I go to the movies, I don't want to be reminded of the tragic situation of Black men dying in the real world. I want to be reminded of the greatness that we can acquire. So for me, that's my beef with it. I hope Marvel can do this right. That's a lot of hope. Marvel has yet to fuck up a movie. When you think about it.
Okay. Hold on. Question for you here. If they're gonna recast, who do they pick?
You know who I'm saying. You know who I'm saying.
Who?
John B. Washington.
Really?
Yeah. Denzel's son be perfect.
John David Washington.
David Washington.
Actually, he gonna have to. His physique's on point. He was in the Baller show. He's not.
Yeah. He could get into shape. I don't doubt he could get into shape. But like, he has the chops to do it.
He does. I would like him.
Yeah. That was a no-brainer for me. I would be okay with them bringing what's his name? What is he in?
You talking about my man that played in Luther?
Yeah.
Idris Elba. That's what I was thinking. Since he got denied the James Bond, running back on this.
Old. Idris is too old.
Idris is old. Who else?
There's young. You need a young Black man, and that's kind of crazy because in this movie, all the young Black men are there.
What about Daniel Kaluuya?
Daniel Kaluuya's in this movie already. He's married to the wife. You know who it should be?
Why can't he become the Black Panther?
It should be the dude who played the dude who got caught in Get Out. He's in Atlanta.
Yeah, no, I was just about to say that dude. That dude would be good too. He was in Knives Out. Have you seen Knives? Anyway,
and Knives Out too. So that's what we're thinking on this. Let us know what your favorite movie is, and we'll carry on. But just don't fuck this up, Marvel.
Swear, don't do it.
This next thing that's loading, I don't know what it is. Oh, okay, this shit right here. So you remember Ashley Babbitt, the woman who stormed the Capitol,
got smoked
for storming the Capitol. Well, her family wants $10 million in the wrongful lawsuit death of her. Keep in mind that the officer who shot her wasn't charged. They haven't disclosed his name or information. But her family says she wants $10 million because she was a military veteran. She was off her meds, and she didn't know what she was doing, bro. She planned this out months in advance. She was
off her meds. If she has to take medication to be able to do halfway sane things, why wasn't she under professional supervision? Why was she under your supervision? It's funny to me that the family's coming out. Y'all couldn't be responsible enough to make sure she took her medication, but y'all can come out and claim wrongful death and try to get $10 million for it. That's out of first of all, that's low ball as hell for a human life. $10 million. I'm just saying.
Yo, you will get nothing but you will not even get sympathy tears from me. You will not even get that from me. You will be lucky to get you got acknowledgement on my show, and that's it. Bye. um Literally, the I want to show everybody this because hopefully you guys haven't seen this yet. But I believe if it is what I think it is, if it ever loads, like I have so many things running on my computer right now, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. But today is May 4th, and May 4th is notorious for being a Star Wars Day, and it's Star Wars Day because if you remember from like the movies and everything, May the 4th be with you. It kind of goes tongue in cheek, but there have been some things like, oh, it did play. Oh, cool. So you guys are singing now. So this is a nice little gift. If you search May the 4th be with you on Google, you'll get that little animation. But some things that Star Wars is doing is they let out the trailer for the Bad Batch, which is basically like a Clone War thing. I don't know anything about Star Wars other than the last 3 movies that came out, and I really enjoyed those movies, but everyone hates me for enjoying those movies. But they're doing something different now, and I like it. It doesn't seem out of place to me. I can put things into context. I don't know. What do you think about this?
I don't want to be a Star Wars nerd, and I'm always excited for May 4th. But the reason why people don't like the last 3 movies is because the last 3 movies come off as a little woke and they don't stay true to the nostalgia of the series. And I can understand that, but you know, it's a different time. The people watching these movies are not you're not marketing this to 50 and 40-year-old men. You're marketing it to people who are preteens, little kids, older. Like that's who you're marketing it to. And so, old people just got to get over the fact that they don't make movies for you anymore. They're not on this level. It's not about you. They're making movies for these kids to remember for the next 20 or 30 years. So you just got to get over it. And I don't have to like the movies. I still support the series because it's not so far gone. Some of the things are just out and out not believable, but it's still good. It's still good nonetheless because there's some characters that they never really developed like they have the last 4 or 5 years in the entirety of the series, bro. So I'm always down for it, bro. Like I'm interested to see what they got coming out.
Like I said, as long as they keep changing it up, it's the diversity is what brought me there. It was what's his name? You know who we forgot to mention in that? It's the dude, the black guy from the Star Wars. He would be a good Black Panther too.
Oh, you talking about Donald Glover?
No,
I know you're talking about. You talking about you talking about the other black dude.
Yeah, the other one. He would be a good one. But yeah. This was I think this was a story that you sent us. Oh no, this was another story. So, Eric, do you know what the going Vegas odds are that the rocket that China sent up last year they lost control of and is spiraling back down to Earth and is bound to hit Earth between now and July? Where do you think this rocket's going to land?
Hopefully in America.
What?
Yeah.
Why
in America?
Why would you wish that on anybody? All this ocean.
I don't wish it on anybody. It could be just in a wide open field, not that we have control over it, but I mean, it would just be a good reason to laugh.
Well,
your toy blew up and landed in my backyard.
Well, given that at the speed that it's going, and if it manages to make it through reentry, and the fact that if it hits the Earth going at any size over of the size of a football, it could hit the fucking planet at the size of a football. That would cause catastrophic damage for miles and could literally change the way the ozone layers that upon impact is affected. Our ultimate hope is that this thing lands somewhere in the middle of the ocean to stop, devastation. But this is going to be
I don't know, man. If it hits the water, it could always start a monsoon. It could always shift the tide. It could.
Nah, no, that's not.
Hey,
That,
man.
that's not. How,
Hey, bro.
it's even at its full size, it wouldn't start that impact. It wouldn't create an impact like that. But what it could do some serious damage if it divides half a building sitting in New York. That's gonna be tragic. So the thing we want to avoid is casualties, but ultimately put it out there in the mindset that we now have so much debris out in space, it is fucking up other planes that we sent up there. So our pollution has now gone past just Earth. We're already polluting space. Literally the infinites of space, we are polluting it, and it's affecting us before we even started doing any real travel. So hopefully this thing lands in the middle of nowhere in the middle of the night where no one can get hurt, but it's something to think about. And then another just moment right here. The Ville is back, the boy is back. Jermaine Cole decided to go ahead and bless us, and he's gonna be dropping the album sometime this week. Next week, actually, I believe. J. Cole has been in the studio for a minute, so long that his dreadlocks have grown 5 inches. Are you a J. Cole fan?
Bro, come on, don't play me like that.
Jermaine Cole. If anyone can tell me where that's from, you getting hearts in the chat. Jermaine Cole. But I don't know. What do you think about him dropping the new album, and where are you gonna get it? Are you gonna get it?
I'm gonna probably stream it on Amazon. That's pretty much it. I'm just gonna get in my car. I'm gonna push play, and I'm gonna drive around. I'm gonna listen to it, the entire thing with Shawnee, and we're gonna get food, and then we're gonna finish listening to it.
Yeah, it drops on the May 5th. I mean May 14th. So look out for that. I'll definitely be getting this. Jermaine Cole is a beast. So one of the few rappers I actually acknowledge in the game. So I'll be looking forward to this.
Yeah, somebody who can actually rap.
Bars
hard to come by. I mean, not
rap
everybody can be
mumble rap
Eric
is rap.
Thomas, you know.
Mumble rap is rap. No, we're not just watching from Twitch, Keisha.
Keisha, hold on.
You literally are watching this on YouTube, Keisha. But I'm just telling you what would help us out. You feel us?
What time is it?
Keisha, what's his name?
It is 7:11.
That's all I want to know is what's his name. Who are you cheating on?
Say his name.
Us with right now. I want to know his name because there's no reason
on the identity
why you
booth.
This late.
You forfeiting your booth boss status.
Eric, this was actually a story from you. Sir, what's up with that?
So check this out, people. Clubhouse was dragging its feet with beta, and so Twitter has come in to take its territory with a new opportunity called Spaces. And Spaces is essentially the exact same thing as Clubhouse chat room. It is a live chat that anybody can pop in and out. If you have or more on Twitter, you can use this right now. So the reason why I'm putting this up here, you can follow us on Twitter at The Identity Booth. Heero, my man, got that plug. He finna drop that for you. Drop that good old link tree so you can slide over to the Twitter. Man, help us get the 600 followers on there. We can open up some spaces and converse with y'all on some real topics. So I mean, I like the competition from Twitter. I like that because Twitter works on every platform. And again, now that the Clubhouse is dragging its feet in beta and had nothing available for Android, they're pretty much going to get pushed out the game. And this is the thing about big tech. When you have an idea and it takes off, you have to leverage to the hill, build it out as fast as possible, and you have to plant your flag in the dirt. If you do not, they will take your technology and run you out of town because they don't want any outsiders getting into their game. It is closed off. So
Hey,
Heero, what you think?
I'm excited to see it. As a person who uses Clubhouse on and off, it's an interesting app. It's like I call it a walkie-talkie version of LinkedIn. There's a lot of people who boast on there, but like you can find your crowd, you can find your people, and it really makes a difference. I'll be interested to see how it goes. I'm always about competition because that just makes things better. And then the last story we'll cover here, and the things we forgot to tell you last week, was a story about I think, Eric, this was also your story about the trauma that's coming with Gen Z.
Yeah, the Gen Zers are over it with all the stuff that's going on in the news, and they are basically saying they don't want to see any more images of people that look like them getting brutalized by the police, or assaulted, or even worse, killed. They don't want to see it anymore. They're saying these images are starting to desensitize them, and they don't want to lose the feeling of the gravity that comes with knowing that this is what's going on in the country. They just don't want to be subjected to it. Like,
I think we lost Eric, but I'm pretty sure he's gonna say they don't want to be subjected to this trauma porn, and there's reason to believe, or like even like hear to them and be like, yeah, this could be traumatic, this could be effective, but there's also a part of me that says we don't get to where we are in this world by not expressing these things and talking about these things. There's a part of me that understands where this trauma comes from, but there's also a part of me that says if we don't forward face this as black people, how do we expect white people to adhere to it, or how do we expect brown people to hear us out? It's not for everybody, and you don't have to be a spokesperson for trauma, but I don't think you should be in the realm of denying access to that, like setting the tones. These 8 people do not speak for all of Gen Z, because a lot of the people on the streets protesting on the front line are Gen Z. Fred had us early and often, the young shall rule the world, and they've proven that over and over again. But this has just been a bunch of stuff that we forgot to tell you last week. That's the name of the show. Things we forgot to tell you last week.
Slow it down and we can catch the vibes. But it's so hard to find through the daily grind. Been working overtime, and I'm sleep deprived. Shorty on my line and we fuss and fight. Seems like every night. Don't care who's wrong or right. I hope the end is sight. Slow it down and we can catch the vibes.